Mining Baron Janardhan Reddy's daughter's wedding, the Karnataka government has resurrected the Karnataka State Marriages Bill 2015 geared towards checking extravagant ceremonies. The bill had been on the back burner for 2 years. The government has proposed to levy a hefty luxury tax on weddings to discourage people from indulging in a display of opulence at weddings. The bill faced opposition from certain sections of the society and couldn't be tabled for more than 2 years.
See, primarily speaking, we need to really understand people who are living in public life. If you restrict them to invite 1,000 people or 2,000 people, it's really not done, because they do have a huge following, huge people who really would like to come and attend the wedding. And levying taxes on this, I don't know how far it is going to be successful. But however, we really appreciate if at all the government takes a stringent action against people who displays their wealth without any requirement, like what happened with Reddy's daughter's wedding, is really uncalled for. We need to really take stringent action.
See, the most of the public wants this, because after the extravagant ceremony which was thrown by Janardhan Reddy's daughter wedding, there was a lot of controversies and a lot of public opinion which was collected. And with the view of this, T.B. Jayachandra ji has taken this measure with discussing with the Chief Minister. Definitely, if we implement this, we will be saving a lot of public property.
Government in Karnataka wants to bring in an act which will now put an imposition on the kind of money that can be spent on marriages, the Lavish Marriages Act. How do you see these developments first?
Let them discuss in details in the assembly. Afterwards, I will come back to you. Thank you.
But then people are saying that, VIPs and VVIPs can spend money, but when it comes to the common man, then you want to impose a tax.
Let us wait. What are the final?
So BJP is opposing, saying that whoever try to display his wealth through the marriage is not acceptable. In fact, if you speak to some Congress leader, in fact, I spoke to them off the record as well as on the record in the month of October. Few ministers on the record went on to say that marriage is a social practice and it should not restrict. It has been followed from many years when kings and queens were used to get married, so they used to display their wealth. So there is nothing wrong, because people save a lot of money to just spend for all this luxurious marriage. But just on the other side, if you see, a lot of money has been spent. For an example, in Janardhan Reddy's daughter's marriage, there are many reports which say that there are crores of money which was spent during that marriage. And even there was an IT raid in this particular, in Janardhan Reddy's office few days back, after the complaint filed by a human activist and a RTI activist against the money which was pledged in this marriage, because according to him, he feels that his bank account was freezed, his properties were seized after he went behind bars.
Absolutely, and of course, what we are seeing is this being a fallout, Sagai, directly of that Reddy wedding, where the opulence was criticized by some. The ostentatiousness, though, went on despite the demonetization row which was taking place, despite several other weddings being affected across the country. This one didn't seem to be affected, and it went on despite the critics' comments as well.
Absolutely, but the Janardhan Reddy family members try to justify, saying that this lavish wedding will not happen overnight, because the announcement was made on November 8th, but it was due for after 2 days of the announcement. So they had plans from past 6 months, and they say that they have outsourced everything to event management company, and event management company also shows the documents of the transaction which was made legally. So they feel that it was a white money. Even if it is a white money, why do you need to spend so much of money on a wedding is a question.
All right, more reactions meanwhile are coming in on this story. Saga, stay with us.
That Janardhan Reddy was able to accumulate thousands of crores thanks to the munificence of the BJP. He has already spent beyond 500 crore on a wedding. So how did he get this kind of money? Was it not black money? Why did Mr. Modi not act against him? Certainly, these are all very important questions which trouble all of us. And that's the reason that the government has taken a stand that these lavish marriages at any cost are not something which are desirable in a country which is not very well off.
In his own cabinet, his colleagues are not prepared to accept this bill. I think he should have seen the marriage of Mr. Ramesh Jarkiholi, a lavish wedding in comparison with the Janardhan Reddy daughter wedding. Still, Congress party wants others to observe austerity, but in their own stead, they don't mind attending lavish weddings, and in the back door, they want to bring this act.
All right, let's go back to Sagaraj, who of course is still live with us. Sagar, those of course being some of the reactions coming in. Activists of course would welcome this move, given that it would curb and have a cap on certain lavishness of weddings, given the fact also that it's come back into the debate at least because it's been on the back burner for almost 2 years.
Absolutely. If you see the MLAs, ministers and all these rich people have this kind of luxurious wedding here. See, there is a place called Palace Ground here in Bengaluru where all this grand, big, fat, lavish wedding happens. So they spend crores of money. So if they try to introduce this particular bill, the IT department go ahead and question them from where you got this much of money. If you are spending say around 5 crore rupees, definitely they can go ahead and question them, saying that from where you got the money. If it is a genuine money, if you have paid tax, they will not have any problem. If you haven't paid tax and if you have spending this money through some other sources, definitely they can question and ask them to pay taxes for all this money, and they can allow them to go ahead and celebrate. But the bill which has been introduced, it is totally different, where they are saying that if you are spending more than this much of money, yes, you have to shell out this much of tax. Earlier, the bill which was introduced was not accepted even by the cabinet minister. It was opposed by them, where in that particular bill they went on to mention that if anybody spends more than 5 lakh rupees and if the attendance is more than 1,000 guests, then they have to pay the tax. It was opposed by the ruling party government as well as the opposition party, because you know very well, these are the people, these are the politicians who splurge lot of money when it comes to this kind of big fat weddings.
People saying, Sagai, on this story, because they're also going to be affected. Some of course would welcome this, given that not every common man can afford such lavishness. So what are people on ground saying?
People on ground, few of them welcome, few of them have mixed reactions, because when I spoke to a few of them, especially the people who are depending upon this kind of lavish wedding, as for an example, vendors, wedding planners and all these people, they say that yes, if they had a black money, they are going to spend on a poor people who are depending upon them. So at the end of the day, you are trying to give money and try to give an employment for the people for a few days, and you spend money on them. But the other side is totally a different picture. People are opposing, saying that why you need to display this kind of wealth when there are so many people who are suffering, especially during the Janardhan Reddy daughter's marriage, where people were standing in long queues to just exchange their money. Here you have Janardhan Reddy.
We leave it there, Sagai. Thank you for joining us with all those details. Meanwhile, the Supreme